what's happening around the world
and what's happening here at home. Good evening and a very warm welcome. You're watching Prime Time News on TV1. I'm Peruni Karnaratna.
And I'm Sandra Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Decision reached to remove 3 questions on paper 1 of the Grade 5 scholarship examination. Ranil seeks the mandate of the people to create an era of development even greater than the era of J.R. Jayawardena.
දුක්වින්දෑටි මතක තියාගෙන හොඳ අනාගතයක් දෙන්න ඕනේ. අන්න ඒකටයි මං විශේෂයෙන්ම කැප වෙලා ඉන්නේ.
Ranil Wickremesinghe led Sri Lanka to a crisis. Will develop the economy under a new government. Anura Kumara assures in Ruan Bella.
ජාත්‍යන්තර වාණිජවලට වලින් ගත්තු $12 කෝටි 1250ම ගත්තේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ අවුරුදු 4මාරේ. අර්බුදේ රනිල්ගේ අවුරුදු 76 තිස්සේ කඩාවැට්ටපු රට අපි පියවරෙන් පියවර අවුරුදු 20කට ලෝකේ පොත ප්‍රකාශ
will ensure justice for students affected by the issues in examination papers under a new government. Sajit Premadasa makes a promise.
පහේ ශිෂ්‍යත්වය මූණ දුන්නු මේ දූදරුවන්ට සිදුවුණු අසාධාරණය අපේ ආණ්ඩුවක් යටතේ නිවැරදි කරනවාමයි කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
I did not earn wealth illegally. A challenge by Namal Rajaka.
අභියෝග කරනවා මම අභියෝග කරනවා අපේ අයිතු ලෙස උපයාගත්තු යම් දේපොළක් ධනයක් ලෝකේ ඕනම තැනක හඳේ හරි කමන්න උගන්ඩාවේ බැරි නා අඟහරු ලෝකේ හරි කමක් ගිහිල්ලා හොයාගෙන ලෝකේ ඕනම අධිකරණයකට මුහුණ දෙන්න අපි සූදානම් කියන එක අපි යට කියනවා.
Manifesto of the NPP presented to the Mahanayaka Theros.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
A vehicle assembly plant was declared open in Kuliapiti today under President Ranil Wickremesinghe's guidance.
The Western Automobile Assembly Private Limited factory was officially declared open in Kuliapiti today. The foundation stone for this facility was laid in 2017. The project was launched based on an agreement signed between the Board of Investment and the Western Automobile Assembly Company in August 2015.
මේ කර්මාන්ත ශාලාව තමයි අග්නිග්ධ ආසියාවේ විශාලම ස්කේල්.
This is the largest SKD factory. This was approved in 2015. Since then, there were many movements against this project. 50,000 vehicles can be produced for a year here. These vehicles produced in Sri Lanka can be exported. We have to continue to implement the agreement with the IMF without changing a word in the agreement. Once we do that, we hope to open factories similar to this factory across Bingiriya.
බිංගිරිය ප්‍රදේශය ඇති කරන්නට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Sri Lanka Sri Lanka decides.
Independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe says that he hopes to usher in an era of development even greater than the era of J.R. Jayawardena.
A rally organised in support of independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe was held at the Kuliapiti town today.
අද අපිට විශේෂ දවසක් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයට. ඒ තමයි J.R. ජයවර්ධන මැතිතුමාගේ උපන්
Today is a special day for us from the United National Party. Today is the birthday of J.R. Jayawardena. We celebrate him because we are members of the UNP. The Janabalawege is not a party of the UNP, therefore they do not celebrate it. There is only one United National Party in the country and I am seeking for their support. There is no other UNP. Therefore, I request everyone of the United National Party to support me on the 21st when When we were working with President J.R. Jayawardena, we accepted many responsibilities. There was no development for 20 years. We got together and established the Maha Valley, created a new capital, built 2 trade zones, created the Udagamana project, introduced Mahapula, created Yovunpuraya, and we implemented many programs through several ministries simultaneously. This time, after I am given the people's mandate and I become president, we will launch even more projects and complete them. Just like I spoke to supporters of the United National Party, I spoke to the supporters of the Pohotua and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Remember, in May 2022, how scared you were. There was fear after I became president. You were afraid to speak up. Some people still do not speak about who they are going to vote for. Let's all unite and emerge victorious on the 21st. Where does the cylinder get the gas from? It gets the gas from these 3 parties and the independent members. Give us 5 years to unite and fix this country. After that, let's see if they will divide or unite and work together. Remember that we will win on the 21st. Vote for the gas cylinder. Will the big elephant win or will the baby elephant win? The big elephant will win. What should we do to make the big elephant win? The baby elephant is in the heat these days. We have all come to ensure the victory of our big elephant, who has the experience, is humble and has saved the country. But the ownership of the big elephant will have to be given to everyone. We too have a Hindu. Vote for the gas cylinder without any fear.
When
attempts were being made to set the parliament on fire, the Rajapaksas came crawling to Ranil Wickremesinghe and asked him to take over. It was not the Rajapaksas who appointed him to that position. It was because the 135 members of parliament believed at that time that Ranil Wickremesinghe was the leader who could have saved the country. The people who once called him the mastermind behind the central bank bond scam appointed him as the president. When he accepted this mountain of problems, he was called Ranil Rajapaksa. My friends, today a Sajit Rajapaksa has been created.
Ranil Wickremesinghe ජනාධිපතිතුමා වෙනුවට අද මේ රටේ සජිත් රාජපක්ෂ කෙනෙක් ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා.
තව දින කීපයයි තියෙන්නේ. අද මේ වෙනකොට මෙතරම් ජන ගඟක් මේ ගල්ලා තියෙන්නේ.
There are only a few days left. No candidate has been able to gather this many supporters. On the 21st, all of you must unite and vote for the gas cylinder. Let's unite with all these leaders from the Kurunegala district and create a massive development drive in the country. Victory to Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Ranil Wickremesinghe මැතිතුමාට ජය වේවා. Ranil Wickremesinghe මැතිතුමාට ජය වේවා.
Presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anura Kumara says that Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is spreading fear in the hearts of the people about economic instability under an NPP government, is the main reason behind the economic crisis of the country.
Another rally of the Dinuma Ratata Rata Anura series, organised in support of NPP presidential candidate Anura Kumara was held at the Ruanwala town today.
While we are very carefully planning and carrying out our election campaigns, our opponents only make false allegations against us. These false allegations have gone so far that recently someone said that once we come into power, the Kandi Perahara will be stopped. We have sent him a letter of demand and we will definitely file legal action against him. Charita Herath from Kurunegala recently said that once the NPP comes into power, we will stop the Perahara of the Atkada Vihara. These are parts of our culture and should never be used on the political stage. They are holding one of our manifestos and saying that our manifesto says that we will create a secular government once we come into power. There's nothing of the sort said in the manifesto that we made. Look at how much they are lying. Then we will go ahead and file a lawsuit for a large sum of money. Then they say we can't even talk. They go and file lawsuits against us. We will not impinge on the right of speech of anyone. But we will file action against statements that are made to cause communal disharmony using race and religion. Hizbullah is going to Iravur in Batiklo and saying that when we come into power, Muslims will only be allowed to celebrate one of the two festivals. He says that they will be allowed to celebrate only either Hajj or Ramazan. He has also said that if we come into power, we will not allow them to grow their beard. I went to Iravur and told them that even I have partially grown my beard. Plans have been made to distribute leaflets and paste posters saying that we are going to create a secular country. Ranil Wickremesinghe speaks about economic matters. That's slightly alright. He says that when we come into power, there will be no gas. Is Ranil Wickremesinghe the owner of a gas source? He says that you will get gas only if he comes into power, and if we win, you will have no gas. Then he says that you will not have fuel if we come into power. Is Ranil Wickremesinghe a sultan in Arabia? Ranil is one of the people who destroyed the economy. Out of the $15.5 billion in debt, Mahinda Rajapaksa had only taken 0.3 billion that has been repaid. The 12.5 billion of that debt was taken during the 4.5 years of Ranil's government. That is the truth. We didn't have enough dollars to pay the debt. The crisis was caused by Ranil. Not only that, he sold the Hambantara port. We have promised the people in our manifesto that we will investigate as to what happened to that money that you got from that sale of the port. Ranil Wickremesinghe is asking the people to give him power to fix the country again. We would like to inform Ranil that he has done enough and that he needs to step aside. We will fix this country. Then he says that he has the best team. He has the best team to rob ships in Somalia. We are ready to take over the country. We will cancel vehicle permits for MPs. Isn't that good? Sajit does a copy of a lot of things we do. However, he does not copy promises like this. Why? That is because no one will be left on his stage if he says something like that. What if he says that vehicle permits will be cancelled? Have you seen how Marika behaves around Ranil Wickremesinghe? He would do anything to get Ranil's signature for a permit. Previously, this was called a car permit. Now it is called a Marika permit. We will not fund and take care of former presidents. Sajit Premadasa will never say this because even his own mother is sponsored by the government. They need to be ashamed. Ranil Wickremesinghe and Sajit Premadasa will not be able to do anything in the remaining few days. I suggest that they get some rest. After all, they need to prepare to accept defeat. This country was destroyed slowly throughout 76 years. We will make this country richer, step by step, within the next few years.
Sajit Premadasa, the presidential candidate of the Samagi Janabalawega, pledged that under his government, justice will be served to the children who are adversely affected at this year's Grade 5 scholarship examination. He made this statement while addressing a public rally in Kegol today.
A rally organised in support of the presidential candidate of the Samaki Janabalawega, Sajit Premadasa, was held in Kegol today.
මට ආරංචි අනුර කුමාර දිසානායක මහත්මයාත් මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා රැස්වීමක් කරාලු. හැබැයි තනියමලු ආවේ. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයා ආවේ නැහැලු. ඔබ දන්නවද දැන් දෙන්න ජෝඩු වෙලා? දෙන්නට දෙන්න දැන් දේශපාලන විවාහ.
I heard that Anura Kumara Disanayaka came here and held a meeting, but he came alone. Ranil Wickremesinghe did not come with him. Do you know that the two are together now? They have entered into a political marriage. These days they are enjoying their honeymoon. Their honeymoon will end on the 21st. On the 21st, their honeymoon will be over. I want to emphasize that the 21st will be the first day of a transformative journey for this country that will truly benefit its people. They are scared. What are they scared of? That we will work for the country, that we will serve the 22 million people of this country. I will give you a clear promise. There are 9 electorates in the Kegol district. I promise all of you that I will strengthen the lives of the people across the Kegol district. The person who says he can can't prevent the grade 5 scholarship exam paper from leaking under his government. What has happened here? The 3 questions that were leaked will be removed. This is a grave injustice to hundreds of thousands of children who sat for the grade 5 scholarship exam. I would like to stress that we will investigate into this conspiracy that leaked this examination paper. We will take a serious decision against those who leaked the paper. I would like to inform the President that everything that he does gets leaked. Stop your leakage. The injustice caused to the children will be addressed under our government. Those who burnt down factories cannot build factories in this country. As the first step, it is our responsibility to provide 9 factories to the 9 electorates in this district. We will then implement this program at the Pradesh Sabha level.
ගල්ල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ ආසන 9ටම කර්මාන්ත ශාලා 9ක් ලබා දීම අපේ වගකීමයි. ඉන්පසුව ප්‍රාලේ කොට්ටාස මට්ටමට අපි මේ වැඩසටහන ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා.
දැන් ඊයේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයා
What did Ranil Wickremesinghe say yesterday? He called on UNP supporters to vote for him. But I must ask, what have you done to deserve their vote? Was it for destroying the UNP for 30 years after 1994? Today, not only has the UNP been destroyed, when a new leader of the UNP is coming up, Ranil Wickremesinghe has stood in the way of that as well.
රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ජනතා විමුක්ති පෙරමුණ දැන් නියෝජනය කරන්නේ ධනපති පන්තිය.
The JVP now represents the capitalist class. Luxurious cars and vehicles are seen at their rallies. Luxury jeeps, Prados are seen. They are speaking that language now. It is sad to say that, however, they are selling hatred on their political stages. Anura Disanayaka came to Kegal and attacked everyone. But he did not speak about his policies or what he will do for you once he comes into power.
මුතුරල් සයුරේ තේජමාන දීපයයි මගේ මව්බිම ලංකා.
A rally of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna presidential candidate Namal Rajaka was held in Ratnapura today.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa attended the rally organised by the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna.
We have won this race. Prepare to eat milk rice on the 22nd. According to surveys that have been done so far, we have received news that Namal Rajapaksa will be the 9th executive president. According to reports we received yesterday and the day before, Anura Disanayaka will receive less than 2 million votes and was placed 4th. We have been branded as thieves. I would like to say that we are ready to face any court if you have found any illegal asset that belongs to us, be it the moon or Uganda. One half of the files are with Ranil Wickremesinghe and the other with Anura. We challenge anyone to present any file and investigate those allegations.
Independent presidential candidate Sarat Fona says that corrupt politics cannot be done away with as long as people remain loyal to political parties.
Independent presidential candidate Sarat Fona paid homage to the temple of Sacred Tooth Relic this morning. He called on the Mahanayaka of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thero, thereafter. A book composed by presidential candidate Sarat Fona titled Yuddha Hamudapati Jathiyata Dun Porunduwa was presented to the Venerable Thero.
I came into politics to save the country from this political culture that is destroying the country, to speak to the people, create awareness among them and put the country on the right track. But that cannot be done with the current political parties and the members of those political parties. The top brass and leaders of those parties are continuing the same old corrupt politics. Even at this point of time, they are not willing to change. That is the reason why I left party politics and came forward as an independent candidate. I sacrificed for the people. You cannot stop corrupting by surrounding yourself with corrupt parliamentarians. That is why I am contesting alone.
Presidential candidate Sarat Fona then called on the Mahanayaka of the Askeri chapter, Most Venerable Varkagoda Sri Gnanaratana Thero, and presented him with the book titled Yuddha Hamudapati Jathiyata Dun Porunduwa.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Welcome back to the news. Continuing in more local news, the manifesto of the National People's Power Movement, A Thriving Nation, A Beautiful Life, was presented to the Mahasabha today. The manifesto was presented to the Mahasabha by National Executive Committee member of the NPP, KD Lanka.
A group headed by KD Lanka from the National People's Power called on the chief incumbent of the Malwatu chapter of the Siam sect, Most Venerable Thibbatuwa Sri Sumangala Thero, and presented the manifesto of the party. The group then called on the Anunayaka of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Dimbul Kumbure Vimaladamma Thero. The manifesto of the NPP was then presented to Karaka Sangha Sabika of the Malwatu chapter, Venerable Atipula Buddharakita Thero. The manifesto was also presented to the Anunayaka of the Askiri chapter, Most Venerable Venerue Upali Thero. දේශපාලන පක්ෂ මොන යෝජනාවල ඉදිරිපත් කරත් ඒ ඡන්දයෙන් පස්සේ කොළඹට සීමාවෙල ජනතාව කියන්නේ 80ක ජනතා බලය අමතක වෙලා යමි ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට මේ රටේ අවදා හරි දේශපාලන පක්ෂ වලින් ඉදිරිපත් කරන වැඩපිළිවෙල වගේම ජනතාවගෙන් යහපත් යෝජනාවල රටට ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා ಈ ಕ್ರಮයේ තුලින් හෝ නැත්නම් මේ ඉදිරිපත් කරන යෝජනාවලින් හෝ රට සකස් වෙන්න ඕනේ. KD Lanka spoke to the media thereafter.
It is clear that on the 22nd, the presidential candidate of NPP, Comrade Anura Kumara, will be sworn in as president. We have no doubt about that. It is not possible to change this outcome with lies and insults. It is clear that there is not going to be any issue. There are attempts to scare the people with the possibility of some unrest. If someone thinks that this election can be won using fear-mongering, they are mistaken.
A convention of the Mahasabha was held yesterday and it was attended by chief incumbent of the Narahenpita Abhayarama Temple and Chancellor of the University of Colombo, Venerable Dr. Muruthetwe Ananda Thero and Venerable Dodampahala Rahula Thero.
I believe that we will have to face even more grave situations, even greater than the Aragalaya. I believe that we have to work to nip this at the bud. What happened to Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who we worked hard to secure 6.9 million votes for? All of this was a result of the lack of experience. There may be people who talk big. We need to put them to test and see if they are actually capable of doing what they say they can. What we as the Mahasabha need to think about is if we should let the country be destroyed once again or if we should back someone who is capable of leading the country forward. I say that Ranil Wickremesinghe is the leader who is capable of leading this country.
රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයා කියන එක මම ඕනෑම තැනක අභිභවා කියනවා. රනිල් සර්ට විරුද්ධව යවෙනවා නම් මේ රටේ සැබෑ දහමට ආරක්ෂාවට.
You should think twice if you plan on going against Ranil Wickremesinghe, our religion and our culture. People may build statues of Mahinda Rajapaksa for ending the war in 2009. At least now ask your son to step down and allow us to take this forward. Combine these votes together. If you are a real leader and if you truly love this country, do this now. Call your son and tell him, my son Namal, step down now. When your time comes in the future, Rahula Thero will be there with us. You have to develop more. These are the views expressed by Venerable Itakande Sadatisa Thero, who has pledged his support to SLPP presidential candidate Namal Rajaka. He expressed these views during an event held last evening.
Ranil ging Anura පුංචි පැලක් හදනවා අපෙන් පැන්න ගෙම්බෝ ගිහින් එතන හිටන් ඉන්නවා ගෑස් සිලින්ඩර් ගෙනිල්ලා මාලිමාවේ ගහනවා එය පිපිරි 21 රෑ දිව්‍ය ලෝකේ වඩිනවා මහින්දගේ රූපේ දාලා ඡන්දේ ගත්තේ රවටලා සල්ලි අරන් පැනලා ගියා අපේ හිටිය ගොයියලා උන්සේරම එන බවයේ ගෙම්බෝ වෙලා ඉපදිලා නාමල් කියාවි ලිංගාවට රොක් වෙලා ගෑස් සිලින්ඩරේ පුපුරයි 21 රෑ සද්දෙට මාලිමාවේ උතුර දකුණ මාරු වේවි එතකොට ටෙලිෆෝනය අතට අරන් කෝල් කරමි හනිකට එතකොට අපේ නාමල්ලේ ජනාධිපති පුටුවට
Leader of the Freedom People's Congress expressed his views on the victory of the SJB presidential candidate Sajit Premadasa.
අපිට අවසාන පැය කීපය වෙනකොට choices දෙකක් තේරීම් දෙකක් ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙනවා.
We are left with only two choices in this final hours: democracy, Nazi, democratic freedom, repressive terrorism. Among these opinions, the people of this country, those who cherish freedom, freedom of criticism, right to freedom, freedom to live and freedom of speech should unite in support of democracy. I would like to make a special request from security forces of this country and the police. We have received information suggesting that groups who believe victory is impossible may choose violence in these last hours.
අවසන් හෝරාවේ යම් ප්‍රචණ්ඩකාරී සිදුවීම් නිර්මාණය කරන්න ඉඩ තියෙනවා.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Secretary General Sagara Karivasam's comments about the other presidential candidates are as follows.
Listen to your conscience. After serving as Prime Minister 7 times and as President for 2 years, has Ranil Wickremesinghe left anything meaningful for the future generations of this country? The answer is clear. Nothing has been accomplished. Similarly, Anura Kumara Disanayaka, who once held the influential ministries of agriculture and irrigation under Chandrika's government, is a leader who stalled the country's progress. He now makes bold claims, but his record speaks otherwise. As for Sajit Premadasa, who has held several powerful ministries over the years, reflect on whether he has contributed anything of lasting value to this nation's future.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of
Today is the Binara Full Moon Poya Day, which is a landmark day in the Buddhist calendar. On the occasion of the Binara Full Moon Poya Day, the Sirasa Namami Poya Day program was held throughout the day, centering the Mahayangana Rajamahavihara.
The Sirasa Namami Poya Day program commenced this morning at the Mahayangana Rajamahavihara with the observance of Utter Sail. The historic background of the Mahayangana Rajamahavihara was discussed, and following that, the Vihara Asana program was telecast, presided over by Chief Incumbent of the Mahayangana Rajamahavihara, Venerable Urula Vatte Dhammarakkhita Nayaka Thera.
උන්වහන්සේ ඉස්සෙල්ලාම විදේශ චාරිකාවක් යෙදෙනවා නම් අපට බුද්ධ චරිතය පිළිබඳව සඳහන් වෙන්නේ මේ මහියංගනයට වැඩම කිරීම.
The foundation stone was also laid for the religious space to worship relics of the Mahayangana Rajamahavihara. The stone was laid, presided over by Chief Incumbent of the Mahayangana Rajamahavihara, Venerable Urulavatte Dhammarakkhita Nayaka Thera, and Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group, Shevan Daniel. The Sirasa Damsara program was presided over by Venerable Ketukumbure Dhammarama Thera. Thereafter, the Sannasa program was telecast, and the Turunu Sita program aimed at shaping the minds of the youth was carried out in this manner. The Satpima program was also telecast from the Mahayangana Rajamahavihara. This evening, the Ape Pansala program and Podisaduge Ahanna program was also telecast, and the Sirasa Namami Poya Day program was concluded with the Sambuddha Puja. Meanwhile, the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board also conducted an awareness program at the Mahayangana Rajama Vihara premises under the theme Matin Nidahaswa Perahera Asiriya Vindakamu.
Our effort is to make all those involved in the Perahera understand that a drug-free life would free you and ensure a healthier life. We also made them aware of our services in this regard.
The Gum at the Damsavya Binarapoya Day program was held today, centering the historic Buttala Dematamal Rajamaha Vihara. The Damsavya Dhamma discussion under this program was held in the afternoon and a special Dhamma discussion was held in the evening. The monthly Poet Sambuddha Puja of the Sirasa Media Network was held at the Shakya Malakya opposite the headquarters premises. Meanwhile, the final Randoli Perahera of the Mahayangana Rajamaha Vihara is set to parade through the streets tonight. The Perahera is sponsored by the Sirasa Media Network.
A series of events took place today at the Sri Mahabodhi Vihara in Maliga Khanda in commemoration of the 160th birth anniversary of Srimad Anagarika Dharmapala and the 74th birthday of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
In honour of the 74th birthday of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the event was organised under the auspices of the President of the Mahabodhi Society of Sri Lanka, Chief Sanganaik of Japan, Chief Priest of the Lankaji Temple in Japan, Venerable Banagala Upatissa Thero. Blessings were offered for Prime Minister Modi during the event and a sapling was also planted in order to commemorate his birthday.
Completing 75 years within few months time, 2-3 months later. So we have a lot of young monks and young people who can carry on the services rendered by Anagarika Dharmapala and who can continue the mission of Anagarika Dharmapala. You know, when I came here, I was 12 years old. The day I ordained to carry on Anagarika Dharmapala's mission, I was 17 years old. Today, I feel our responsibility to serve the nation. In my case, not only Sri Lanka, beyond that I have to serve my Indian friends and my friends and my associates. While I was studying in grade 6 at Sarnath, I had a lot of friends. Few of them are politicians. So my bond between India and Sri Lanka is very strong. Only very few people know the bond. And Honorable Modi ji has realized that. That's why he is always supporting me along with other cabinet ministers.
To commemorate the 160th birth anniversary of Anagarika Dharmapala, an almsgiving was held for the Mahasangha this morning. Following this, a floral tribute was also conducted. Anagarika Dharmapala's 160th birth anniversary was also celebrated at the Lankaji Temple in Japan with a primary focus on religious rites.
A decision was taken to remove 3 questions from the first paper of the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination. The decision was taken following a discussion held today between the examiners, paper correction officers and the Commissioner General of Examinations. Commissioner General of Examinations Amit Jayasundara said that a special investigation team has been appointed to investigate the leaking of the first paper on social media.
Meanwhile, foreign investment and the privatization of state-owned assets are currently prominent topics being debated in the political sphere. Has this impacted the development of the country?
Recent revelations in Parliament have prompted reconsideration of these policies.
This information was disclosed in a report published by the Colombo Port on jetties leased to foreign companies. How did the Sri Lanka Ports Authority experience a decline in revenue despite the significant earnings of foreign companies operating at Colombo's harbour jetties? Revelations on this were made in Parliament on the 3rd of September 2024. In 2015, the Ports Authority received 1,864 million rupees from South Asia Gateway Terminals Private Limited, while the foreign company earned 9,341 million rupees. Meanwhile, Colombo International Container Terminal generated 1,969 million rupees in revenue, while the foreign company earned 9,015 million rupees. By 2024, the revenue generated from the South Asia Gateway Terminals Private Limited was 2,212 million rupees, while the revenue generated by the foreign company was 13,146 million rupees. The revenue generated in 2024 by the Colombo International Container Terminal was 1,717 million rupees, while the foreign company earned 26,054 million rupees. Over the years from 2015 to 2024, foreign companies have progressively been generating more revenue than the Sri Lanka Ports Authority.
Sri Lanka's Finance Ministry said that debt payments are ongoing despite moratorium.
The Ministry of Finance, Economic Stabilisation and National Policies has issued a clarification regarding Sri Lanka's external debt service payments, addressing widespread misconceptions about the country's economic stabilisation efforts. In a statement released on the 12th September 2024, the Ministry emphasised that the prevailing economic stability is not solely due to the suspension of external debt payments. Contrary to popular belief, Sri Lanka has continued to service its multilateral debt even after the temporary moratorium on selected external debt service was announced in April 2022. This moratorium applied specifically to external commercial debt and official bilateral debt, while multilateral debt servicing remained uninterrupted. The ministry highlighted that in 2022 and 2023, Sri Lanka made debt service payments amounting to $2,483 million and $2,589 million respectively. These payments represent approximately half of the usual annual debt service payments prior to the moratorium. The ministry's statement aims to correct the narrative that economic stability will falter once debt servicing resumes. It underscores the importance of ongoing macroeconomic reforms as the true drivers of stabilization rather than the temporary suspension of debt payments. The Finance Ministry said that Sri Lanka has already concluded debt restructuring agreements with the official sectors and is in advanced stages of negotiations with external commercial creditors. These agreements are expected to provide Sri Lanka with significant debt relief and create the space required for the country to resume debt service obligations in a manner that does not disrupt economic stability in the future as well. However, it added that it is essential that Sri Lanka uses this time and space to diligently rebuild its fiscal and external buffers. It warned that if the country fails to do so, then a return to instability is possible.
The Tamil Nadu government has approved a budget for constructing new houses for Sri Lankan Tamil refugees in Kottaipattu.
The Tamil Nadu state government has sanctioned 300 million Indian rupees for building new houses for Sri Lankan Tamils at Kottaipattu on the Tiruchi-Pudukottai highway. Kottaipattu, one of Tamil Nadu's largest refugee camps, houses around 1,200 Sri Lankan refugees in 470 units. Many of these homes have fallen into disrepair due to age and poor maintenance, prompting the need for new construction. The state's Commissionerate of Rehabilitation and the Welfare of Non-Resident Tamils have responded to the urgent demands from camp residents and field reports indicating the dire condition of the existing houses. Over 500 new homes are planned, with the District Rural Development Agency overseeing the construction process. Construction will occur near the current camp, with site identification underway. Refugees will remain in their current accommodations until the new houses are completed and ready for occupancy.
With the presidential election just 4 days away, what are the people of Sri Lanka expecting from the president?
Although there are 25 administrative districts in our country, they are divided into 22 electoral districts. These 22 electoral districts will become a single constituency during the presidential election, when the country's leadership for the next 5 years is chosen. Do the candidates discuss the expectations of the people? Are the demands of the people different from each province and each electoral district? Today as well, the Newsfirst team inquired about this, and this is what the fishermen from Gaul are looking forward to from the president after the 21st. This is the Galle district in the southern province.
දීවරන්ට රැකියාව වෙන තෙල් නැහැ. දවසක් ගියත් දවස් 4-5 ගොඩ ඉඳන් බලන් ඉන්නනවා තෙල් ටිකයි දෙනවා. දීවරය ගැන හිතන රටේ ජනතාව ගැන හිතන නායකයෙ මේ පාර අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තෝරනවා.
මාළු වලට මිලන්න පිටරටින් සමන් ගේනවා. ඒව නවත්තන්නේ කියලා බලාපොරොත්තු ඉල්ලා සිටින්නේ මේ නායකයන්ගේ කිසිම හොරෙන් ලං කර ගන්න නැති හොරුන්ට දඬුවම් දෙන පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්න වැඩිතර හොරු කණ්ඩායම් අයින් කරන නායකත්වය බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න. අපේ ගාන හිතන අපි වගේම දුප්පත් නායකයෙක් මේ රටේ ජනාධිපති වෙන්න ඕන. එතකොට අපි ගාන හිතන්න පුළුවන් ඌට.
This is the Kalavava village in the Anuradhapura district. Many people here make a living from freshwater fishing, and these are their demands from the new president.
ජීවර අම්බාන් කඩේ ගිහලා අපිට තියෙන තත්ත්ව වලට ගන්න බෑ ඒ තරම් ගන්න. එන ආණ්ඩුව හරි මේක සලසලා අඩු කරලා ජීවර රැකියාව කරන අම්බාන් දුන්නා නම් අපි ඒ රැකියාව කරගෙන යනවා.
කරදිය මිරිදිය කියලා වෙනස් ભેදයකින් තොරව අපිටත් මොනවා හරි දෙයක් ලබා දෙන්න කියලා තමයි එන රජේ ඉල්ලා හිටින්නේ.
Today we travelled across Maharagama asking people's opinion, and we met an active member who advocates for the transgender community and a member who actively participated in the Aragalaya.
අපේ ප්‍රජාවන් වලට රැකියා ප්‍රශ්න විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි පැහැදිලිවම කිය යුතුයි ඒ ඔවුන්ට ඒ අයිතිවාසිකම් ලබා දීම සඳහා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම වැඩපිළිවෙලක් පාලකයන් කවුරුපත් වුණත් ඔවුන් මේ දේ කළ යුතුයි. ඒ වගේම ඔවුන්ට දේශපාලනයේ ඉදිරියට යන්න සහ රාජ්‍ය ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රමය තුල මැදිහත්කාරකමක් කරන්න ඔවුන්ට ඒ අවස්ථාවන් ලබා දෙන්න කියලා ජනාධිපතිවරණ අපේක්ෂකයින්ගෙම අපි
The main livelihood for people living in the Batiklo district is agriculture and fisheries. Among these people there is a group of Tamil-speaking indigenous people, and they are among some of the most disadvantaged groups living in the area. This is what they had to say.
බඩු ටිකට බෙල වැඩි. ඒ වුණත් ඒක අඩු කරලා අපි දුප්පත් මිනිසුන්ව පොට දුණු කරන්න ඕන කියලා තමයි මම ඉල්ලන්නේ මේ අලුතෙන් එන ජනාධිපති.
These are the demands of the people. How will the candidates and political parties respond to these people's demands?
Campaigning for the presidential election will come to an end at midnight tomorrow. The Election Commission said that engaging in election campaign during the campaign silence period is an offence punishable by law.
18 වෙනිදා මධ්‍යම රාත්‍රියේ සිට ඡන්ද විමසීම් දිනේ දක්වා කිසිදු ප්‍රචාර කටයුතු
No election campaigning activities can be carried out from midnight on the 18th of September until the day of the election. All of the election offices set up by political parties will change after midnight on the 19th of September. From then, only election officers for the respective election zone can continue to be maintained. Besides that, all other 13,314 officers will be removed by midnight on the 19th. One election office can be newly set up per electoral seat. Only 182 offices can be maintained per candidate from the 19th of September. Also, the residence of the candidate can continue to operate as an election office. Also, by the 21st, if an election office has been established within 500 meters of the polling station, all of those officers, including the residence of the candidate, cannot continue to function as an election office.
ඡන්ද අපේක්ෂකයාගේ නිවස කාර්යාලයක් හැටියට පවත්වාගෙන යාමට හැකියාවක් නැහැ.
The Election Commission said that a special program is being implemented to stop election campaigning on social media during the campaign silence period.
The centenary Thanksgiving service of Painter Home for Children was held in Nuwara today.
The 100th anniversary service of the Painter Home for Children in Nuwara was held at the Holy Trinity Church in Nuwara today. A procession began at the Union Church and proceeded to the Holy Trinity Church, Nuwara, followed by the divine worship.
Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
The Thanksgiving was attended by members of the Painter family, past and present students of the home and well-wishers. Notable attendees also included Dr. Arthur Painter and Kathleen Painter, son and daughter of Reverend Arnold Painter, founder of the Painter Home.
Today we give thanks to God as students, past students, friends, well-wishers for God's great faithfulness throughout these 100 years that have gone by. Through all the challenges that we faced, the Lord has been merciful, and we want to say thank you. We seek your prayers as we journey through the rest of what God holds in store for us. God bless you all.
The home was started by late Reverend Arnold Painter in 1924. It was initially called the Nuwara Children's Home and later renamed as the Painter Home.
And they're looking around for...
On to some news overseas now. Former US President Donald Trump said he needed more people on his security detail and suggested he told that to President Joe Biden when the president called him after the apparent assassination attempt.
Driver! Take 2 steps to your right! Take 2 steps to your right! Hey, come back.
A gunman hid nearly for 12 hours in bushes before Donald Trump made an unscheduled decision to play a game of golf at his oceanfront club in Florida, leaving locals stunned at what authorities say appears to be the second attempt to assassinate the former president in as many months. It was hot and cloudy on Sunday afternoon when Trump and his good friend real estate developer Steve Witkoff arrived on the course of Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach. The former president was on the 5th fairway, an area adjacent to busy roads near Palm Beach International Airport, where a member of his protection detail spotted a rifle poking out of a foliage by the 6th hole. Trump, who was evacuated unharmed, recounted at an event on Monday night that he heard probably 4 or 5 shots ring out in the near distance. A quick-thinking Secret Service agent had opened fire in the direction of the suspect, who was about 300 to 500 yards away and did not have a clear line of sight to Trump. The suspect was equipped with 2 digital cameras, a black plastic bag of food, an SKS-style semi-automatic rifle, a weapon with a range of nearly 440 yards and a scope to magnify its lens. Ryan Wesley Routh, the suspect in Sunday's apparent assassination attempt against Donald Trump, has been charged with 2 counts including possessing a firearm as a convicted felon and possessing a firearm with an obliterated serial number. At a news conference, the acting director of the Secret Service said the suspect did not have line of sight on Trump. The former president and his running mate J.D. Vance sought to place blame on President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, with Trump saying the suspect believed the rhetoric of Biden and Harris and he acted on it.
According to the military government in Myanmar, the number of people in Myanmar who have died in the wake of Typhoon Yagi rose to more than 220, with nearly 80 others still missing.
The storm swept through northern Vietnam, Laos, Thailand and Myanmar in early September and has killed more than 500 people across the region so far, according to official figures. It triggered severe floods and mudslides in Myanmar, leaving at least 226 dead as whole villages were wrecked. With hundreds of thousands of acres of crops destroyed, the UN also warned that more than 500,000 people in the war-torn country are in urgent need of food as well as drinking water, shelter and clothes. The UN said the storm's devastation spanned 9 states and regions, including the country's capital in the interior, as well as Mandalay to the north, Magwe to the west and Bago to the south, regions that lie along Irrawaddy, Myanmar's largest river.
The first test between Sri Lanka and New Zealand will take place in Galle tomorrow. Dinesh Chandimal will be called in at number 3 for the game tomorrow.
Players from both teams were training today. The test series between Sri Lanka and New Zealand consists of 2 test matches and will be played as part of the World Test Championship. Both matches of this series will be played at the Galle International Cricket Stadium. We know what our strengths are in our conditions. I have a lot of faith in these players. Kamindu Mendis will not play at number 3. He will play as a middle order batsman. A spinner should be brought in based on the conditions of the Galle Stadium. Milan Ratnayaka will not be in the playing 11 since I can only play 2 fast bowlers. Everyone knows about the pitch in Galle. He is not out of the 11 due to bad performance. We need to bring in balance to this squad. Who can we bring in at number 3? I think if Chandimal takes this, it will be a big positive. We have to give him that confidence. The first match of the test series is scheduled to be held from the 18th to the 23rd of September. The 21st of September has been declared as a rest day of the match.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.